Insulin can kill people. One miscalculation of an insulin dose can kill my child.
She is extremely lucky that there's not a trail of dead children behind her reckless actions.
She could have killed a child, and she used the fact that we have vulnerable children to deceive us.
My daughter will not speak to doctors anymore.
Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a deeply disturbing case out of Clark County, Nevada. Crystal Scott marketed herself as a registered nurse and a diabetes educator, running a concierge business called Glucose and Glow. She treated dozens of diabetic children, dosing their insulin and even forging doctors' signatures for school medical records. But there was one massive glaring problem. She had absolutely no medical license. In this transcript, we're going to hear the raw, heartbreaking victim impact statements from the parents who unknowingly put their children's lives in the hands of an imposter. Let's see how the court handles this staggering breach of trust.
Allison Anderson, Allison, Anderson, Anderson.
Ms. Anderson, what would you like to tell the court about how this crime has affected you?
Your Honor, I am here today as a mother of a young daughter who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 2 years ago.
It's okay.
I wasn't gonna cry. I got it. Okay. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease. Her immune system attacked the cells in her pancreas that produce insulin and other hormones, leaving her dependent on insulin to survive the rest of her life. She was diagnosed at 8 years old. She almost died. And she was in the hospital for many days on drips in diabetic ketoacidosis, which is an acidic state that eats your body away. And children have had comas and have had death before they get diagnosed with this condition. As her parents, we essentially have to act as her pancreas 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, never ending. And we constantly monitor her blood sugar and all of her food, hormones, stress, everything affects her blood sugar. 24 things besides food affect her blood sugar. Insulin can kill people. One miscalculation of an insulin dose can kill my child. To say that the defendant was a nurse, for her to say she's a nurse, it makes me very upset because I am a licensed registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for almost 15 years. I went to school. I had a traumatic childhood. I went to school. I did it the right way and I care about people.
You really have to appreciate the absolute audacity of this fake nurse and why this mom is so furious. The mother speaking here is an actual licensed registered nurse. She knows exactly the blood, sweat, and tears required to earn those credentials. In Nevada, practicing nursing without a license isn't just frowned upon. Under Nevada Revised Statutes Section 632.315, it is a felony. By legally defining the unauthorized practice of medicine as a severe crime, the law aims to protect vulnerable patients from exactly this kind of predatory behavior. Imagine the slap in the face for this mother to entrust her diabetic daughter to someone she thought was a peer, only to find out she was a total fraud.
This is a very dangerous disease that she has to live with her whole life. There's about 1,300 kids in Clark County that have type 1. After my daughter's diagnosis, we were assigned Dr. Dewan is an endocrinologist. At his office, I met Crystal in July of 2024 when I went to go visit this doctor that's going to save my child. And I was introduced to her as a registered nurse, which she is not. And I was introduced to her as a dietitian and a diabetic educator. She was listed on their website as a provider, as a registered nurse provider. And all of that was under false pretenses. So I trusted her. She came to me as a mom and said, I have special needs children. I'm going to care for you. I'm going to get you what you need. For an entire year, she was there. She would get the medications that we needed, but she was under Dr. Dewan's care. But she was saying she's a registered nurse to my face, and she is not, and I am a registered nurse, so I'm very passionate about that. And so she created a place called Glucose and Glow, where she did Botox and injections and also treated diabetic children. She had doctors prescribing insulin for her, and she was dosing it out, and she could have killed children.
This is where the case escalates from a simple scam into something downright terrifying. The fake nurse opened a business where she allegedly administered Botox, IV treatments, and most alarmingly, dosed out insulin to kids. Insulin is a strictly controlled prescription medication, When someone who isn't a licensed medical professional starts forging doctors' signatures to dispense dangerous drugs, they're typically looking at severe forgery and drug distribution charges. In legal terms, the reckless disregard for human life shown by dosing a lethal drug without proper training can open the door to criminal negligence or even manslaughter charges if a child had actually died.
To say that no kids were harmed in this is vastly untrue. If you have sustained high blood sugars, it eats your body, and these kids are likely to have trouble having babies, strokes, amputations. We paid her to take care of our child. And then I had the school district call me and tell me that my child is not allowed at school because the doctor's orders that were provided by the defendant are not real. They had inconsistencies. The nurse at Clark County is the one who figured it out. She was 9 and she trusted the defendant. And my daughter is heartbroken that somebody so kind and caring could have lied and said that they were something they were not. My daughter went to the type 1 diabetic camp in Reno last year, and this year it's a week-long camp where 100 kids get together as type 1s, and it gives respite for the families. She only wanted to go last year as her first time because she knew Crystal was going to be there. And Crystal cared for children, hundreds of children away from their parents, under the guise that she was a nurse and a diabetic educator and a caregiver, and she took advantage of our trust. I was never interviewed, even as a victim. I was never interviewed about my experience before she took a plea agreement. I did not even know that was happening. I wish I could have said more because some of the charges that she had should have stuck.
This mother is experiencing the harsh, frustrating reality of the criminal justice system, specifically plea bargains. Originally, prosecutors slammed the fake nurse with over 70 criminal charges, including child abuse. But to avoid a lengthy trial and guarantee a conviction, the state agreed to drop the vast majority of those charges in exchange for a guilty plea on just a couple of felonies. While this is incredibly efficient for the courts, you can hear the absolute devastation in the mother's voice. This is exactly why victim impact statements exist. It's the one time victims get to bypass the legal maneuvering, look the judge in the eye, and put the real human cost of the crime on the official record before sentencing.
And I honor the court that you have to do what you need to do in the court, but I'm just very hurt and angry because for them to say that she knows more about type 1 diabetes than someone in the courtroom is lie. She's not a licensed nurse. She hurt my family. My son, who isn't even a type 1, went to her and had care. They did a respite care at Dewan's clinic where for 4 hours parents could drop their special needs children off to go Christmas shopping because you have no one to care for them. And I left my children in her care. I never would have knowingly placed my daughter in the care of an unlicensed person and showed my sweet child that there are caring people out there in the world, even if they lie to you. You can't think that everyone's going to do that. And my kids still are like, I can't believe why would she do that, Mommy? Nurses are supposed to care about people. And I said, she's not a nurse. She took advantage of us. This has damaged our trust in people in our community and in systems that are supposed to protect patients. I've struggled with how someone could apparently function in those roles without credentials being discovered. I've struggled with how she could have been hired and trusted around medically vulnerable children. 50,000 children at Dewan's office. 50,000. So to say that there wasn't anybody harmed, I don't think this evidence or the research has been done to prove that. I also have struggled with the lack of answers and accountability I've seen from those organizations. She sat on the board of the Nevada Diabetic Association. They allowed her to go to camp. She flew airplanes and she was using a fake name. One of the most disturbing memories for me now involves the camp. There are parents now that don't trust the camp. They won't send their children there. And that was their safe space. Knowing what I know now makes that terrifying to think about. Insulin errors can have catastrophic consequences. Diabetes management also affects long-term health. But to say that there was no lasting harm is not true. As a mother, one of the hardest parts has been feeling as though I failed my daughter. I understand that I was deceived. But I still ask myself how I missed it and how I trusted the wrong person with my child's health. And those are questions that I have to live with. I'm also here because I feel a responsibility to speak not only for my daughter, but for the families who don't feel comfortable coming today because type 1 is already, the fear did not become smaller. The betrayal did not become smaller. The disruption to my daughter's care and our trust did not disappear. She could have killed a child. She wants time with her family, but she could have killed children. And she used the fact that we have vulnerable children to deceive us. Ultimately, the reason I am here today is because I do not want this to happen again. Families of children with type 1 already carry that enormous responsibility. The support and resources available to families can already feel insufficient. Vegas is really lacking in its services, and that's how she was able to take advantage of us. We should not also have to wonder whether the person representing herself as a medical professional is actually qualified to care for our child. She hurt families, she violated the trust and parents placed in someone that they believed was a medical professional, and she inserted deception into an area where trust and competence can literally be matters of life and death every single day. I'm asking the court to impose a sentence of the max that reflects the seriousness of the breach of trust within this court's authority. Help prevent the defendant from putting another child or vulnerable family in this position again. I'm asking for accountability, consequences, and protection from the community. After today, I do not want to give the defendant any more space in my family's life. I will continue doing what I have always done and advocating for my daughter and for children living with type 1 diabetes in this community. And I want to leave this courtroom knowing that I spoke for my daughter and I told the court what this has done to our family, and I did everything I could to help make sure another family doesn't have to experience this. The whole truth has not been stated today.
Tia Stanfield, TIA STANFIELD.
Okay, what would you like to tell the court about how this has affected your life?
My daughter was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 4 years old. Anyone who has lived this disease
It's okay, just take a deep breath.
understands the fear that comes along with that diagnosis. Type 1 diabetes is not just simply checking blood sugar. It is relentless, life-threatening, requires constant medical management every single day. It was not that long ago that type 1 diabetes was a death sentence. Today, a wrong insulin dose can cause seizures, coma, brain damage, organ failure, loss of limbs, loss of eyesight, and death. Parents of type 1 diabetes children live with the constant fear that one mistake will take them. Parents like us, we're searching for trustworthy people to help us navigate an incredibly difficult disease. She is extremely lucky that there's not a trail of dead children behind her reckless actions. This plea deal feels like a miscarriage of justice. This case is not about fraud. It is about the calculated exploitation of chronically ill children and terrified parents. It's about violating the sacred trust families place in medical providers. It is about risking children's lives for personal gain. And even here today, she called herself a nurse multiple times.
Even inside the courtroom on the very day she is facing the music, the defendant is still calling herself a nurse. In the legal world, during a sentencing hearing, a judge is looking for one crucial thing from the defendant: genuine remorse. When a judge sees a defendant double down on their delusions or make excuses during their allocution, which is their formal chance to speak to the court, it is a massive red flag. Judges have broad discretion when deciding how much prison time to hand down. A complete lack of accountability tells the judge that this person is a high risk to reoffend, practically begging the court to hand down the maximum possible sentence to protect the public.
My daughter will not speak to doctors anymore. If they try to talk to her, she just stares at them. She won't tell me when she's sick. She doesn't want to go to the doctor. She doesn't want to trust them again. There is no respect to the victims. There is no addressing the victims. There was a lot of excuses. And I'm asking that the court, please, Let us see justice. Let us see accountability.
In August 2026, Crystal Scott, the fake nurse you just watched being confronted, finally faced the consequences of her actions. Originally facing a staggering 73 criminal charges, she took a plea deal down to just 2 felonies. Practicing nursing without a license and forgery, Clark County District Judge Danielle Pieper sentenced the 45-year-old to 19 to 48 months in Nevada State Prison. Despite asking the judge for mercy, claiming her only goal was to help people, Scott was immediately placed in handcuffs and escorted out of the courtroom to begin her sentence. Justice may have been delayed, and the plea deal might have deeply frustrated the victims, but this fake nurse is officially behind bars. Drop a comment below. Do you think the plea deal was too lenient? Let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.